whoa! I'm gonna, whoa! What the? That sounds bad? I don't know, I'm not a professional, I'm a fucking game developer. It's happened before. It has happened before, so I think it's like, I don't know, maybe they're like cleaning the pipes or something, I don't fucking know. Anyways, live on YouTube. Oh, whoa, okay, let's go. This doesn't smell good. It definitely doesn't smell good. It could be my garbage, but I cleaned out my garbage. I can assist you with your pipe later. Stop talking. Someone shut that guy up. What the hell is he saying? Sexual innuendos. Stop it. I don't want you to help me with my pipe. I wish to have no assistance with my pipe. So, why is this multicast not running for the explosion? You might need two people to help you with your pipe. Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. How about you help this? Oh, it is playing it now. Now that it's reliable. Can we do an RPC call? Can we make doing the explosion without requiring a multicast call? I guess we could set the current ammo to a rep notify. And then if it's a rep notify, then we can check if it's over 100. And then from there, that can call the explosion effect. Man, I don't know, man. Or maybe we use the multicast to remove the item from the player's inventory as well. This code's looking a little gnarly, I gotta say. It's looking pretty gnarly. It's claustrophobic. I am gonna puke. I need some space. Thank you. It's a little better. Let's do this. Primary button. Inputs. Where's the secondary button? Inputs. Secondary button. Inputs. Yes. Yes. Another game where you're putting everything in one blueprint, Yandere dev style. I've come down to the conclusion, I don't give a single fucking shit about what programming elitists say about my code anymore. Yep. Yeah, I don't care. I do not care at all. I don't care. I don't care. Misa not care. Gilfa. As long as the thing works and it's optimized, I don't care. As long as I can read it and expand upon it whenever needed, that's what matters. And as long as I don't puke looking at it, which right now, we're not doing too hot. Right now, not doing so hot. Set rotation on other clients. Sure. Set rotation on other clients. There's a word for this. Simulated proxies. I don't fucking remember. I don't, dude. I'm still trying to get some of those terminologies out of the way. Don't 100% have them yet. For now, we're just going to say set rotation on other clients. This is basically what this is doing. If we are not the server, because the server for some reason already has the correct rotation, we're not shaking it, and we are not the owner, go ahead and set the rotation. There you go. There we go, baby. There we go. The cool thing about setting this rotation is it is already using a replicated variable, which is the base aim rotation. So literally, it's not an extra cost necessarily on the server, because it's already using pre-existing variables that are already replicated. The only thing is cost on event tick, but who cares? I don't care. God knows what I was thinking when I coded it. I think it just depends on, at the end of the day, what matters is the code quality for you. And if you work with other people, the code quality working and being understandable for other people. That's about it. Not what some fucking schmuck says on YouTube about your code quality, like, and calls himself Coding Jesus. I'm sorry, dude. Coding Jesus. I don't like, listen, I'm not a fan of Pirate Software, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of his content and whatnot. But that video from Coding Jesus, I think, oh, here, we're gonna review his code. Whatever, man. Shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna review Pirate Software's code. Listen, I get it. You want your like little moment of fame to fucking rail on someone. Crimson, you're naming your variables weirdly. Change it now. Coding Jesus. I don't even remember what Coding Jesus said. I just know some of his takes were fucking stupid. Crimson's a hater. No, actually, I think in this moment, I'm pretty reasonable. I'm technically like defending, I guess, Pirate Software in this situation, because there were people just literally sandbagging him because they knew they would get YouTube views. And there was literally one YouTuber who was like covering the drama, literally made like 20 videos on the situation every day. And the thumbnails were like, he's done, you know, the general bullshit. I actually think that person is more fucking cringe than like, I guess the things that people were critiquing Pirate Software for. Valid critiques in some areas, but like, bro, I think that YouTuber's worse. I would not want to associate myself with that YouTuber more than, I guess, Pirate Software. Yeah, Rock Kicker, how's it going? Gonna make my channel name Unreal God. It is I, Unreal God. The entire drama was such a non-issue, especially regarding Pirate's game. To be fair to people that were following Pirate's game, I do have to say, and I think he would probably admit it too, he was focusing a lot more on gaming than he was working on his game, based off of like what I was seeing and the patches that he was making and stuff like that. And it got to a point where even Steam put a fucking disclaimer on the game saying that it hasn't been updated in like however much time it was. But yeah, obviously it got to a point where people were looking for any and every reason to try to rail on the guy. But in terms of how he made the game, yeah, no, that was cringe. Like, oh, well, look at this code. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I hate that shit so much. I actually hate that shit so much. Look at the code quality. It's so bad. It's so poorly done. I should make this a function. Are we going to be able to run this game on a fringe, though? Probably not. Unfortunately, no. I can't take advantage of that part of the gaming community. The ones that play on a smart fridge. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, I don't think so. It really sucks having to put this on reliable. I feel like there has to be a better way of doing the explosion that does not require having to put in a reliable multicast RPC. I also think we can reduce the net call distance of this by like a shit ton. Like I really don't think it needs to be that large of a range. We could probably do 4,000 by 4,000. Even that is like a pretty huge range, to be honest. On a Nokia 3210 then? Yes, possibly. Don't quote me on it, but yes. I am the coding guru. It is I, coding guru. Okay. What is our first task, chat? Deal damage to the surrounding players upon explosion. Yes. Upon explosion. So what we're going to want to do is we probably want to run this on the server. Krim, when his most controversial video is not blowing up the internet. I hope I never get popular enough to the point where someone like starts looking through all of my VODs to try to find something that would incriminate me or cancel me. Because I do say some crazy shit sometimes. Not like crazy shit as in like a right-wing grifter would say, but like some I like talk shit about gamers sometimes, like the general. I do say some shit that could put me in some rocky waters. Yeah, I have all the clips saved. You can't blackmail me. I feel like most of us in chat would go down with you then. Nah, they'd just put me into the fire. They'd throw me into the fire. They'd put me up in that statue like they did in that trailer for Divinity. They put me up in there. If you say it in a Kermit voice, it doesn't count though, right? I'm sure someone will find a way. Okay, so we need to do a sphere overlap of actor location with a sphere radius of 100. Object types, pawn, physics body, destructible, maybe interactable. Do a branch for each loop from here. The hell's that noise? That's why I don't stream, because I don't want to be held liable for every time I misspeak or be cringe. Listen, I don't say like absolutely gnarly shit. It's just like, I'm sure someone is going to find themselves getting offended. I do at times over talk about other individuals within the game dev space, which, you know, I like to talk. I don't have anyone else to talk to, chat, about these kind of things. You know what I mean? Like, I've been very, I haven't been talking to my, like, I don't talk to many of my old friend groups. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, what is that noise? Who is drilling something in the wall? I'm coming up there. I'm coming up there. Listen, man, I'm not gonna stop myself from having fun because I'm worried that something's gonna happen or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? Like, I also gotta like have fun. Damage type, explosion. Impulse, none. Also, I don't think that does anything. Be cooked or get cooked. Yeah. Be the cooker or get the cooking. Only you can cancel yourself really at the end of the day, no matter what you do, including nothing. People like or hate you. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure there's someone who's probably judging me for like not working on Suit for Hire right now. Which, to be fair, I do need to release that one update that's currently like on the docket. I just have not opened the Suit for Hire project in a hot minute. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a little bit of a hot minute. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a hot minute. Okay, everybody took damage. Very good, very good. Everybody took a little bit of damage. However, nobody was impulsed. Here's the problem with that. It's really stupid. I cannot impulse people on the server for some fucking reason. Which is odd, because you would think impulsing would have to be done from the server because of some level of server authority, but it's not. I have to, for some reason, I can only impulse people on their client. So I almost have to run a local call just to impulse them, which is really stupid. Really fucking dumb. Let me try something. Yeah, I don't think this value does anything. Which is really annoying! Would you say that Suit for Hire was a resounding financial success considering the expenditures and hours of development time? I think the problem is financial success is seen in a different definition for a ton of people. In my own definition, for it being a first game release after not releasing a game being my first game release, I'd say it was pretty good, considering that I'm now able to kind of go full-time on it, at least for the time being. Not making the friendslop game a 256-player battle royale as well. Oh, dude, I don't even know where to get started with doing something like that, and I don't think I ever will. I will never make a game of that scale. I think there's one thing I have become at terms with is I never want to make a game of that scale. That's PvP. I actually don't think I have any drive to work on a PvP game, like at all, like right now, like at all, which is great, because then I feel like there's no struggle. I'm just doing the thing I want to do, which is making a multiplayer game, but it's co-op, and I'm having a good time with it so far, kind of. So it's sort of the little issues with it, but you know, figuring it out. Am I willing to share the metrics on Suit for Hire? I don't want to share the numbers at the moment, because I don't know. For me, I do have I'm pretty open with my friends and whatnot, like close friends, but when it comes to like putting numbers online, I do feel like it's like putting your business numbers out there, which I don't really like doing. Yeah, it's pretty private, because it's like, that's my income that I'd basically be publicizing. You know what I mean? I completely respect other people that do it. But I don't like putting those numbers out there, because people start making assumptions and whatnot. Makes sense now. I'm embarrassed for asking. No, don't be embarrassed, Rock Kicker. You're good. Don't sweat it. Seriously, don't sweat it. Do not sweat it, brother. I think one day maybe maybe after this game releases, maybe I could, you know, maybe I'll release the numbers for how well Suit for Hire did. Maybe make a little post-mortem kind of thing or whatever. We already know you're a millionaire. What more could we assume? I'm not a millionaire. I will admit, I have very bad spending habits. I order a lot of DoorDash. I can go out and buy coffee so much. You know what I mean? Like, most of my bad habits, though, when it comes to spending are food. Luckily. It's not like I don't feel a drive to go out and buy a fucking $5,000 watch or buy bougie fucking clothing. You know, I don't give a shit about that at all, which is great. Literally, most of my spending is food. This bubble teas is pretty expensive, true. I haven't been buying bubble teas at all. What is this short? Okay, this is a funny short. You know what? I'll show this one. Oh, this is a funny one.
All right, Carter, you got $25.87.
Not for long. I make bad financial decisions.
That's me. Yeah, I sold my game. Now I'm going to be making bad financial decisions. Yeah. Crimson, since you're rich now, buy me RAM, 64 gigs of RAM, please. No, I don't think I will. No, I don't think I will. Hold on, I gotta check some shit on my email. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really like releasing financial stuff too much. I feel like while I do want to put my faith in the best interests of humanity and people, I do think there are people out there that unfortunately would perceive me differently and whatnot. I'm sure people already perceive me differently, but I hope that's not the case. I'm just a guy. The game did well, don't get me wrong. Can I teach you special tricks that gets you to make your game release and do well? No. I'm not going to tell you that I can ever do that. That's the difference between me and some other fucking game dev YouTubers. I'm not going to tell you that I have secrets. There are no secrets. I found a niche concept that I felt like other people weren't necessarily making games out of that kind of idea, and then I added third person to it, and somehow it did well. And thank goodness I'm privileged. I have an opportunity to go full-time on something, especially in a very odd economic, weird job space. And yeah, secret is make a fun game. It's that simple. Yes and no. Like, make a good game. Like, what does that mean, making a good game? You know what I mean? You know, like, okay, let's talk about that. Like, right? Okay, I know I haven't been working on stuff, but we can talk about that a little bit. Like, what is this? What is the secret, if any? Yes, you could say make a good game, but what does make a good game entail? Does making a good game mean making the right type of game at the right time, releasing it at the right time? There is a little element of luck there to an extent. The sauce, right? But then people might over assume that. They might be like, okay, the sauce is polishing a game a shit ton, doing a bunch of this. But then sometimes I actually would argue there are certain games that actually do well because they're not putting too much on it. You know what I mean? Like Lethal Company. But then there are people that are extremely subjective when it comes to their concept of what is a good game, and they actually say Lethal Company is a bad game, which I would argue is not true, because clearly it fucking did really well, because it just hits its mark so fucking well. It doesn't care about the making the graphics look the best ever. If anything, the graphics and the models looking poor is actually the great element of it that really makes it stand out so well. I feel like the key to making a good game is just being consistent about making it. Yeah, there's just so many pieces of the puzzle, right? And which is why there are people that are like, oh, making game dev isn't actually that hard, I think are bullshitters. If you're an indie dev that is making everything in your game and doing everything in your game, anybody who says it's not hard is bullshitting. Anybody who also says it's really hard is also kind of bullshitting to an extreme as well. But it is an extremely hard space to get into. It is hard. It is not easy. It's not easy. I think that's fucking bullshit. And people trying to gatekeep it or like trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to discredit other people's emotions about the space and their perceptions of it by saying, well, it's not that hard. Yeah. You would at least be better than 90% of those game dev gurus who sell courses without ever having completed a quality game. I don't know. There's something weird about me as well. I just don't think releasing one good game is enough to also put you into the list. You know what I mean? Putting you on the board. I don't know. I don't know what would be enough to put you on the board, you know, of like, because there's instances where you have people that are making courses or making educational content and they've been in the industry for so long. But I'd argue that some of those people actually have like kind of lost the plot to an extent, or maybe they were not enough of a contributor to actually be the sometimes when it comes to a game, that's why I just don't trust anybody that's like, from the director that worked on this game. I don't think that's enough to make a game good. Because at the end of the day, a lot of those games are team efforts. You might have the one guy in the fucking back who was an environment artist who came up with one random idea and that shit was the thing that made it click. It wasn't the director or the fucking producer or whatever. You know what I mean? It's everyone a collective that actually kind of makes those games work well. I don't know. I just don't. I think it depends, man. I think anybody who tells you that they can guarantee you success, those are all bullshitters though. I think if anybody that ends up actually becoming successful after taking that person's course, it's not because of that person that made them successful. It's because the person themselves who was making the thing, they were the reason why they succeeded, not because of the course that they took that promised them success. Did I say that correctly? I think I did. Yeah, anyways, English is hard. I can guarantee you success for a small fee. I think anybody who says any business, anything that says they can guarantee you success, fucking straight up lie. Straight up lie. I call bullshit. I call huge amounts of bullshit. Yeah. In the train, straight up jorking it. And by it, let's just say, my fire extinguisher. I love that. By the way, I should credit the person that posted that meme in chat. That shit's it's too fucking funny, man. Oh, it's too fucking funny. 1,000 games a minimum before making a course. Come on, these games aren't going to build themselves. I also think that's bullshit too. You know, the people that are saying, oh, you got to like release a bunch of small games. I don't think that's enough to actually teach you how to make like a good game. I think it's all just, that's why I say like the best advice I can give is stop listening to advice and just do things. Just make. I think that's my best advice. Ignore all advice. Ignore everything. Just learn experiences yourself. Learn it in your way. And I think that will be the best teacher, is your own experiences. I do courses because it's all in one place rather than having to hunt YouTube. But that said, I'm sort of stuck in a loop of not doing stuff myself because I keep telling myself I can't, but I can. Just do it. Stop listening to doubts or anything. Just get in there and just make shit. Even if it doesn't work. No, we're not enabling Jorkin. We're not putting Jorkin. No, it's too literal. We're not putting Jorkin in the. We're not putting Jorkin in. We're not putting Jorkin. Instruction unclear. I took your advice. I guess by me saying don't take advice, you are technically taking my advice of not taking advice, which then you're now in a loop of taking advice or whatever. Anyways, we got a game to work on. Deal damage to surrounding players upon explosion? Yes. Delete the item in the player's inventory upon explosion. Okay, we can do this in... I don't think this needs to be replicated. Or, well, it will be, but... Let's just try to get it to work on the server first. Oh, right. There's another thing we need to replicate. I just realized. Replicate sound of shaking for surrounding players. I don't think that's replicated for some reason. You're doing Trello now? I thought you did everything in Notion. We were doing a lot of the tasks in Notion, but it was getting extremely... What would be the word I'd felt? It was getting a little stressful, seeing a huge list. It just didn't feel very good, and I feel like putting the actionable tasks on Trello just feels a little bit more comfortable for me, especially getting at the scale that we are with the game. Notion has a list thing that you could use. I just didn't like it. I like Notion for text, ideas, etc. And then we bring those things into Trello whenever we have actionable stuff that we need to start working on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so when this explodes, it calls something called custom release grab actor. But this is done locally. Whereas our explosion, which is an issue that I have with this, our explosion runs on the server. So I almost feel like we need a way to call current ammo and be able to receive it on the client. So then that way I can just do it locally. Now I could just call a run on owning client, and I probably will end up just doing that. Whatever. Client remove item. And the owner is, yes, this should work. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a print string real quick. Actually, no. Let's just, yeah, fuck it. Where's the release? So we'll call custom release grab. So that should release it, but then we just need to actually delete the item. Oh, I forgot to call it. Whoops. I'm stupid. That happens so often. Okay. So now the only problem is the item doesn't actually delete itself from the player's inventory. So that is the next step. We need to delete the item from the player's inventory. I feel like maybe the item could have an integer on it that is a reference to the actual inventory index. The one thing we need to fix though, so here's something we're gonna have to do though. You can equip an item and then you can probably swap it to a different slot and it'll stay equipped. We need to actually like have that update. So that would be something we need to fix. Let's put that up. Put it on the board. Equip current item in hand. Usable context fire extinguisher item. Let's delete this task. Destroy the equipped item if item being dropped is equipped. Wait, what? Destroy the equipped item if item being dropped is equipped. I think we already did that. Get him golden. Yeah. That's already being done. Equip the current item in hand. Okay, so let's add a couple items into this. Moving equipped item out of slot should unequip it, which means it'll basically destroy the item. Moving the equipped item out of slot should unequip. Okay. Hope y'all are well. Hey, likewise, man. Likewise. Moving the equipped item out of slot should unequip. What was something else that we kind of need there? Oh, adding item to currently equipped slot should update the player's equipped item. Crimson, look up 6-7 on Google. Please do it. Please, please. Mods, get ready. If I search up 6-7 on Google. Okay, what am I... What am I looking for? The screen does the hand motion? Oh wait, on the main page you mean? I don't see it. I just see the holidays. I don't see it. My Steam recap showed that I played more on Linux than on Windows. How is Linux these days? How is it these days? I guess the worry is that people are pissed off about Windows 11, huh? I saw a thing where a bunch of people's like registrations for like applications got screwed over because of having to, because when they upgraded to Windows 11, all the games that I played, including Arc Raiders, works flawlessly. Ooh, very nice. What is that, running on like Proton or whatever the fuck it's called? I wiped all the AI shit by installing Windows 11 Enterprise. But isn't that like, technically, isn't a Windows 11 Enterprise license way more expensive and has different amounts of different features? Crimson, what are you gonna do if your RAM memory breaks? I got no choice. I gotta fucking spend $1,000, I guess. This is my job. This is literally my entire livelihood. So I'm at the grasp of the AI bubble, I suppose. Just download more. Nobody fucking say anything. Knock on wood. My computer doesn't experience any issues for the next few years. Okay, I don't want to fucking deal with those. Dealing with computer issues is the worst thing ever. Ever. Does RAM ever break? I feel like one of the moments where it could ever happen is if your computer somehow shorts, your motherboard shorts, which then ends up maybe fucking up your RAM. I feel like that would be the only like instance I could think of. Right? Okay, so we got client remove item. It is releasing the grabbed actor. But we also need to remove it from the player's inventory. So we have a drop item from inventory, which is running on the server. We need to rename this. This is technically not dropping the item from the inventory. It is removing the item from the inventory. The process of dropping it is actually this event that then spawns the item. So this is named incorrectly. This is remove item from inventory. That's a better name for this function. Of course, though, would be good to rename all these other variables in here, but let's try item to remove. And then removed item. Yeah, no, that is a much better name for this function because we can actually, that means that I can actually call a server call to remove the item from the inventory. Same Windows for games, accepts all the Windows apps. Cortana shit doesn't exist in Enterprise. Arr. Arr. Yeah. Listen, you can apparently, I was able to apparently receive free long-term, the long-term support or whatever for like another year. So I am still getting a year of security updates for Windows 10. So honestly, I'm just sticking to that for the next year. Future me will handle the Windows 11 shit whenever that fucking has to happen, unfortunately. Yeah. Seeing a clean visual script makes me happy. And, you know, it's not the... I will argue it's not the cleanest thing in the world. It's not my cleanest code. It's been getting a little... it's a little... you know, not the cleanest thing in the world, I will admit. Will the name of this game be Train Conductor for Hire? We've already determined the name of the game. It is the best part of the game, in my opinion. It's called Train Rot. It's like a play on words of like brain rot, but train rot, which I think is quite fitting for the friendslop genre. I don't even bother rerouting. Yeah, I need to reroute, otherwise I go fucking crazy. This is still pretty crazy, but doable. You also have Windows 10 Enterprise IoT with support until like 2032, which is ridiculous. Yeah, the thing that's kind of annoying with switching to those enterprise versions, I think you have to like reinstall Windows for some stupid reason. You can't like simply switch to that kind of license. And I think I have Windows 10 Pro, I believe, is the one that I have. My iPhone is still on iOS 18. Yeah, I have not updated my iOS, and I refuse to because of the shit that I hear about. The problem is, I literally cannot install Uber. I can't install certain apps. I believe there's certain apps I can no longer open until I update my iOS. And honestly, I don't fucking want to. I'm on iOS 16.6. I'm on iOS 16.6. This update introduces 21 new emojis. Microsoft Force-enabled Smart App Control recently. Smart App Control disables non-signed apps, so half of my software stopped working. You know how expensive it is to actually get your application signed? Or getting it like a Microsoft certificate? It is fucking stupid. I think in the perspective of Steam, is Steam assigned their own certificate to it? You should be able to disable that, right? Smart App Control? You should be able to disable that, right? Had to disable it again. Funny. He's had some weird issues these last few weeks. Oh, yeah, that's fair. I guess if you were having issues anyways, you might as well just fucking reinstall anyways. My UE flickering issues came from some issues in my older Windows installation, for example. Could have been like a driver issue, could have been something else, but yeah. Hey, at the end of the day, if it works now, you know? Just really don't like that Windows told me that I'm not allowed to run software on my computer. They are really kind of like making it feel like you don't own your computer. The funny thing about hardware, I'm gonna be the guy. You know how like with games, you actually technically do not own your game. You only own a license to play the game, which is true in some legality things. I'm sure that hardware is the same way. You don't actually own your hardware. You're just being given the permission to utilize it. It's like when you start like modifying any of your parts, you lose warranty entirely because you've now lost. Like it's now, yeah, you it's your own thing now, I guess. You don't own anything these days. It's true. You don't even own, like, at least here in Canada, when you buy a house, you don't actually buy the house. You're just giving, you're being given permission to utilize the land. That's basically it. It's definitely the worst thing ever. You could get the Blueprint Assistant plugin that automatically lays out your blueprint graph and adds reroute, saves so much time. Yeah, but I'm kind of crazy in that I kind of like organizing things. It's like a nice way to, you know, wind down. It's like UV unwrapping. It's like UV unwrapping, but for blueprints. Kind of enjoy it a little bit sometimes, you know? I do enjoy it a little bit. I love UV unwrapping. It's so chill, man. It's chill. Once you like understand what UV unwrapping is doing, from there it's just kind of like, it's like playing a little puzzle. Unless you have an enormous object and or you're in VFX, then maybe might not be the most fun thing ever, but you know, whatever. Yeah. You know something that would be cool? You know how functions have local variables? I wish a custom event could somehow, I don't know how they would do this. I don't think it's possible. I wish a custom event could have local variables because then we wouldn't have to have these fucking enormous lines coming out of this. I don't want to have to create a variable here that's then a global variable on the entire, like, you know what I mean? So you end up having these fucking, it looks like ass, but there's nothing you can do in Blueprint. In C++, when you, I'm pretty sure whenever you create a custom event, which is just a function, you can have local variables. I'd say that's the big difference between Blueprint and the C++ is that one element alone does, you know. Off to my retail job. Hey, Godspeed, Divine. Godspeed. Hope it's a chill shift. UE noob question: is it okay to have door logic open / code using math / lerp, or should I just animate it? I'd say do whatever works, man. If it works, it works. You'll find out the problems that are associated when you start doing it. I'd say just fuck it, you know? Personally, can't handle visual scripting. The last thing I want to see is my spaghetti code visually. Don't get me wrong, as I get more comfortable with C++, I think I'll probably lean more into C++ as time goes on. But admittedly, it is working on this is a constant friction, like working in C++. There is a constant friction right now because it's like trying to figure out the syntax, how things are written, shit like that. Like it's a little bit of like figuring out. And also multiplayer replication is done slightly differently in C++. So that's going to be a little stage of figuring things out as well. So yeah. I do recognize that lerp has some floating point issues, so I thought maybe that was wrong. The thing is, if you're doing a lerp, you're going to have to call it on tick anyways. You can't just like call lerp in a singular event and then call it a day. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to do some element of updating the door. You can't just directly call it and then the interpolation just happens on its own. So if you use a timeline or an animation, it's a one-off event. That honestly is probably fine. So yeah. Well, of course, this is in the perspective of Unreal. I currently do lerp through tick, and then when it's finished, I deactivate the tick. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's... Hey, if it works, it works. The thing I like about a timeline is it's technically a one-off event that ticks during its duration, and then it ends, and then go from there. You can disable tick? Yes. Yeah, you can. You can also set the tick frequency. So if you find that you have certain moments where you need something to tick and then something that doesn't need to tick as much, we do this for Suit for Hire's enemies. The farther they are away from the player, or if they're not on screen in the camera region, we increase their tick frequency, or decrease their tick frequency, I guess. So instead of them ticking constantly, we like set it to like 0.2. So like every 0.2 seconds they tick. And that's something we do. We do a bunch of optimizations there. Sometimes I dread having to close Unreal to make some class in C++. I will say I do really like the blueprint structure where you can literally just do it in engine and then just test it. Doing things in C++ kind of sucks, and don't tell me to use live coding or hot reloading, because that shit does not fucking work. Does not work well. You end up having so many side effects that occur. It ain't good. What's the idea for the friendslop game? You and your friends have to keep a mysterious, weird train running. That's basically the entire pitch. Keep a train running while surviving. You can get hot reload to work. It's a godsend. I think the only time hot reloading works okay is if you're only editing the CPP file. I think once you start adding to the header file, I think things start breaking. Have I heard of the friendslop game Pilgrim? I think I have. Is that the one where you're like on a cart and then going from like dungeon to dungeon? Oh my god, how is it suddenly very negative? What happened? Oh, it's abandoned? Wait, how is it abandoned? When was the last update for it? I played the game that shit sucked ass. I only saw this through watching streamers play it, and it has some of this, it has some of the visual sauce, but like it's like lacking in the game department. It's like lacking heavily in the game, in the game part of it. Like the monsters, I don't even think the monsters were memorable at all. Yeah. Gotta have some game in your game. Yeah, I gotta get the game in the game. Okay, so next step. When the fire extinguisher explodes, we need to remove the item. Poor guy's trying his best and they harass him. I'm really glad that people aren't like harassing me for super fire. I know a lot of people are like, wow, I can't wait for more updates. It's like, but is every game suddenly now a live service game? But it seems like most people are still enjoying the game for what it is. So I'm really glad that that's the case. People still expecting the Tokyo update? Which Tokyo update? The Tokyo series is there. It's right there. It's in the game. It does kind of feel like that. Dude, like, I think people without them even thinking about it, I feel like people are treating every game like it's a live service. Oh, like this game needs to be constantly updated for the rest of fucking eternity. It's an insane expectation. We want the entire Tokyo? What the hell? It's always interesting to me to see how to keep friendslop games alive, like after spikes of hype when everyone stops playing. I think the reality of friendslop games is that they are games meant to be played in spurts. They're not like RPGs, they're not like MMOs, you know what I mean? The idea of a friendslop game is you having fun with your friends for a little bit and you come back to it, you know, like a few weeks later or something like that. It's not like a game you would play like hundreds of hours, you know, like that. It's like an experience. It's like you going with your friends and having a fun experience. I feel like that's the drive of it. That's why I think Peak is so well done, because it's like every 24 hours or whatever it is, they have like a different seed for people to play, and it's like a different little experience that you can have over. Like, I think that's really smart. I don't know if I could do that for this game. I would love to, but I don't know if it'll roll well. I do hope in your friends' game that there'd be a suit for hire costume to put on. It could be funny. Super Fire was on my Steam recap for this year. A hell yeah. What if we don't have friends? I am going to be making this game playable in solo. Like, that is one thing I am keeping in the back of my mind. I think something that Repo did really well is they really made the game playable independently, like on your own. It almost changes the vibe of the game. Makes it more horror. So I do want to kind of make this game also still playable on your own. Ronin. One day Ronin. We'll work on Ronin again, maybe. Yeah, I think the daily seed thing is a really fun idea. I don't know if I'd implement that for this game, though. Like, I'd like to. I think that'd be cool. But I don't... I think for the perspective of Peak, it makes sense. In the case of this game, I don't think it would make sense in the case of this game. In the case of Peak, it makes a lot of sense for the game design. Because it's like, okay, that route fucked up. Let's go a different route. You know what I mean? Whereas at this game, if we were to have like the same seed, there's not really... yeah, I don't think it would work. Most anticipated game of next year is Mouse PI for Hire, and it comes out a couple of days before my birthday. That game looks cool visually, man. That game looks so good visually. It's a classic kind of animated style. Oh, dude, so sick. Very cool. Yeah, super cool. The thing frosting on the barrel, very cool little detail. Yeah, it's fun, man. Very fun visuals. Oh, Mega Bonk? Yeah, I don't know if we'd put a leaderboard in this game. I don't know if it would work. I know for sure one thing that I'd want to put in this game is peaks, a similar system as Peak has for like difficulty. Every time you finish a run on the highest difficulty that you have unlocked, you unlock the next difficulty. That I think we can definitely implement. Like make it so it's like things get harder on the train. Maybe there's more cabins on the train. Maybe more events occur on the train. Maybe the health of the train actually impacts things. You know what I mean? Like doing a bunch of stuff like that I think could be fun, because then it, like, for the people that want the challenging element of the game, they can choose to do that. If people just want to have a good time, they can just choose the default lowest difficulty or whatever. You know what I mean? Just have a good time with it. So it kind of, for the people that really want to gamify it, they can. For the people that want to keep that friend slop kind of like very, you know, leaning in that direction, then they can. You know what I mean? I think that's probably a healthy thing to do as well. And then an endless mode could be good too. I know there's some people, I've already seen a few YouTube videos where people are going like on a crazy fucking streak in repo, trying to get to like a really high level. And I think there's people that love that kind of element as well, so. Get control rotation world space. I could have used that. What am I planning in terms of voice chat? I'm using the Steam Core SDK for voice chat. And that will obviously be proximity and everything. For things like hand-to-hand combat, like punching or kicking, would I use a trace or collision box overlap? In Suit for Hire, I believe we used collision boxes. Or not collision boxes, we used box tracing. Traces, in my opinion, are a lot more accurate than collision boxes or box overlaps. Box overlaps, I feel like, have a tendency to potentially not hit, and that fucking sucks. So, in my opinion, I think box trace is 5 times better for that alone. You have a higher guarantee of it actually like hitting things. Now, does it cost more? I don't think so. I think an overlap box actually might be worse. I don't know. Just the factor alone that sometimes it doesn't actually activate is enough to be like, yeah, I would not use overlaps for that sort of stuff. Use a mid-side spreader. Use that too. Use one of them's. Been using Vivox and it's so nice. I use Steam and it's rough in terms of quality. Hey, honestly, maybe rough in quality is what we want. Maybe it's what we want. I don't know. Okay. We need to call remove item from inventory. We can call it from the server. That being said, we need to get the instigator. If 2 enemy boxes overlap, things will probably... I'm not sure what that means. It's not about multiple enemies inside of an overlap box. It's just that overlaps... Relying on overlaps for things... I don't know. Overlaps, I have found, have a tendency of not working very well. Like, sometimes it will just not activate. Like, it won't hit something even though it's clearly inside of the box. Whereas a trace, in my opinion, is just way better to do. Okay, we have a run on server here. Traces are faster anyways. I would assume, I don't know. I don't know what the performance impact would be an overlap versus a trace, but I'm pretty sure trace is probably better. I don't know, just the factor alone that it's more accurate in my opinion. More reliable. I'd prefer that over whatever. Remove item from inventory. We need the instigator. Which I think we can just get the owner. So we can do a cast to the... I love how we're doing a client remove item. Let's let's rename it. Am I using gas for this? No. No, I'm not. I'm not, no. So, when we call remove item from inventory, we need to get the item index that we have equipped. Oh, wait. Okay. That might work. Let's see. Okay, the only thing I have to do now is update. We have to update the inventory. How do we do that again? Update player inventory UI. What? That's calling that on the server? Sure. Let's do, I'm gonna do this differently. The reason for that is other clients might not know about that controller, so it's very possible that that cast would fail. But I'm pretty sure it's just running on the servers. But just for safety, let's put a sequence in here. For safety, let's put a sequence. What? Oh, motherfucker. No, I don't want to use instigator. It's not going to give me the right... No, that's not what I want. Returns the instigator's controller for this actor. I don't know if that's the correct one. I don't think so, but... Oh, hey, would you look at that? It is. Somehow, I don't know. I suppose so. It's weird though because we are updating this from the server. So there is a high probability that this does not work very well on clients. Oh, hey. I think the thing is because the explosion is delayed on the player, it will call the update immediately, and so they're okay. Okay, so that's replicated. This song is so 2010. Can you play some DaBaby? Mods? I always get confused about get owner, get controller, get actor, get player character, get player controller. It gets a little, yeah, you do get lost in the sauce a little bit. In this case, get owner is fine because we've been using it already. And we know that the owner of this actor is the character that owns it. Yeah, but the instigator controller is technically, I don't know if that's correct. Because I don't know if we're actually setting the instigator when we equip an item. See, we're not even setting the instigator. It's just really funny. So I don't know, but hey, it works. I won't complain. It works for now until we start doing a bunch of testing. Will the playtest be solo? We've done 2 playtests so far. One was like literally very beginnings of like just making sure movement works. I'm probably gonna do another playtest with a few people, probably this weekend. We haven't done one in a while. Now we have the general movement component is hooked up, so we need to test that. We need to test the voice again, because I did a bunch of adjustments to that, see if that works properly. We need to test all of the item interaction stuff. All of that stuff we need to test out. There's a lot of things to make sure it's working. Oh yeah. Do I have any unique ideas for enemies yet? We got a couple that I think are pretty unique. Like the chef. Even though it's very similar, you could say that's similar to the chef in Repo. The things he does is very different. Such as grabbing you, bringing you back to his kitchen, and then turning you into a hot dog. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty... I'd say that's pretty unique. Starts preparing you to be turned into a hot dog. You know, that's pretty... Puts a bun on you, ketchup, mustard, probably relish, you know what I mean? Maybe we make him start whistling really creepily. You know, make him whistle while he preps you to eat you into his gigantic mouth. Maybe we make him French. Maybe we make him French. If he finds out that you were taken away from the kitchen, because other players would be essentially would take you and would be able to save you. Maybe if he finds out that you somehow escaped, he's like Sacre bleu. He's like. There'd be a kitchen on the train. So the idea of the chef, the chef would only appear if one of the cabins is the kitchen cabin. And that's like the entire cabin is like a fancy like kitchen area. So certain enemies would only spawn if a specific corresponding cabin generates on the train, basically. And that adds, you know, that adds a little bit of replayability. There's a chance that you don't, you know, see the chef until like a certain, you know, like run or a certain like travel period from station to station. So yeah, we got a couple unique monster ideas. What's another one? Oh, Jimmy. We got Jimmy. He'd be sitting in one of the cabins, and the instant you see him, he activates, and you have to start feeding him periodically, or else he stands up from his chair and starts hunting down players. How long do you have after he catches you before you become a full-blown hot dog? I would say probably like a minute or two. You know, he's like slowly prepping you. I still want the puppet room. The puppet room would be great, and then we could have like a puppet master enemy. Puppets chasing after you and shit. Maybe they like jump on your face. Oh, that'd be great. And then the only way to like remove a puppet from your face is if you like shake it off. Okay, without the explosion, of course. That could be funny. And then like while that happens, you have no control over your movement. Is there a timer for how long you'd have to survive for? We don't have those details out of the way yet. So the details for that, I don't 100% know yet. It's like a case of like you got to keep the fuel up while you're going. Maybe there's like a pathway from like one point to another, and maybe there's a certain speed. So however fast you're going is like your ETA. I think that will probably be end up being what it is. But I'm not 100% certain yet. Okay, let's check the Trello again. Release grab event upon explosion. Delete the item in the player's inventory. Reduce the velocity. Have not done that. Replicate the sound of shaking. Have not done that yet. But pretty good progress there. We got a train running in the train game. Yep. Kind of. Kind of. The train's kind of running. Trello, my boys leveled up. I've always used Trello in the past. I just, at some point, I was just like kind of simple about it, and I just started doing my task management in Notion. But for this game, I felt like it was getting a little too hectic, so I was like, ah, fuck it. Let's transition this over to Trello for this project. Yo, Glizzy. You watch my move. I'm gonna say watch my moves. Oh, another unique enemy is the Mafia. There'd be points and times where a neighboring train would actually appear, and then you can, you know, get on that train and stuff like that, which should be pretty fun. The Mafia is a train that would appear next to you, and they would essentially blackmail you. They would be like, or they would demand payment for protection. And if you don't pay them by like giving them items and shit for that period of time, they would go to the back of the train, drop off one of their goons or mafioso, and then they'd have a Tommy gun, and then they would probably start hunting you or becoming basically an enemy on the train. The Gabagoons! Oh my god, the Gabagoons! The Gabagoons! I fucking love that. The Gabagoons. The Gabagoons. So yeah, couple little unique things. That adds like a lot of, I think that adds a lot of like really fun randomization to the game. Is this just stereotype simulator? Stereotypes are fun. And also I am like, unfortunately, I got a lot of Italian blood in my veins. I got a no-no and a nona. I'm pretty sure my no-no was in the Mafia. I'm pretty sure. That motherfucker's... I'm pretty sure he was in the Mafia. He seems the type. He's got the vibe. Either he was in the Mafia or he was associated with at some point or time. Maybe when the fire extinguisher explodes, it can set other things on fire. I don't know if it would set other things on fire. I did think about that, by the way. I did think about that. I feel like that would be too chaotic. We are going to have to, at some point, kind of make this data-oriented in some way. And make it so items can become flammable, or have an is-flammable state. Because imagine you throw something wooden inside of a fire, you would assume it would go on fire, right? Don't forget the music the Mafia is playing when they appear. Yes, yes. Yeah. We need some sort of indicator to players that the Mafia has appeared at the front of the train. So, the cliche, stereotypical music will definitely be a good way of Closing the deal. Yeah, Gaz? No, maybe a gameplay tag, but I don't know how. I would like to come up with my own gameplay tag system when something's on fire. Okay, what else we got on our list? We've done a pretty good amount of stuff today. Moving an equipped item of a slot should unequip it. Yeah. Adding the item to a currently equipped slot should update the player's equipped item. Okay. We got some good directions of stuff to do. What about an enemy that's a dog that lifts its leg and pisses on you with extraordinary precision? What, okay, but what's the piss? Is it like acid and it like makes you melt? Why? Well, the next question is why? No, it's just piss. All right. It's just piss. Do you guys know that dog piss is like extremely acidic? That shit like melts things. Well, maybe not melts, but it like kills things. I don't know if it's as acidic as human piss, but I think it's worse. Have I tasted it? No. No. Have I seen Snowpiercer? I have not seen the entire movie. I've only seen clips of it, but I've seen the show. I have a few references on my reference board. Is some of the cool stuff that Snowpiercer does for their train. I'm gonna go lay down horizontally for a little bit. Hey, take a nice little break, Sonny. Get yourself a tea. Drink some tea. Drink some water. Go on a little mini walk if you can. Yeah, relax a bit. Listen to some chill music of your choice. Yeah, we got a bunch of little references here of a bunch of different things. I think this is Starfield. I think. So how sloppy is this going to be? You ever eaten a sloppy Joe before? And like the instant you squish the sandwich, all of the meat just comes out? That's sloppy, baby. That actually made me hungry. I was about to say I was going to say so what I should say is my mouth is getting watery. But what I was going to say is my mouth is starting to lactate. But that's not the correct word. My mouth is salivating. I was using the wrong word. That's more gloppy. What the hell is gloppy? What fucking gooner stream is this from? My brain was going to that word, but I couldn't figure out the other word, which is salivating. And then for some reason, whatever, man. Hey, shoot me, okay? Like, what do you want from me? Don't judge me. Anyways, watch me explode this fire extinguisher. There's an annoying thing with the sound effect where it kind of like resets it. Because I'm using the same sound cue for this thing, it's like resetting it, which is really annoying. Huh. Okay, you know, dropping item should retain the durability. Example, fire extinguisher ammo count. Yes! Yes! That was the task I was looking for. To retain the durability. I always knew they did that. Don't do that in real life, chat. Do not take a fire extinguisher off the wall and start shaking it. I don't think you're gonna get the same result that you're getting here. At the end of the day, this is a video game. This is a video game through and through. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're back, gonna go test something unrelated. Mom, watch this. Starts doing the glizzy with the fire extinguisher. Okay, another task we need to add is constant dot damage from fireplace, from fire. It's another task we need to put that on the board. And then okay. Hey, Theoric. Can I ask how you deal with versioning assets? Do I use Git and Azure DevOps? My workflow is I use DigitalOcean to host a Perforce server or Helix Core server. It costs around, I think my pricing right now is like 13, 14, 15 bucks a month, around there. I forget how much space it has. I want to say it has like 70 gigabytes. Yeah. That's what I use. And it works pretty well. I don't have to deal with a git LFS or anything like that. I literally just the whole project, just slap that fucker in there. Suppose my dev friend has paid animations from the marketplace and he gives it to me. If I use those animations in my game, would I get copywritten? It's not about copyright, and it's more about the license that's associated with that. The person that owns the marketplace would have to be associated with the project, I'm pretty sure. But here's what I would recommend, because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not your lawyer, and this is not legal advice. Read the EULA, read the license terms, and get acquainted with that. I cannot give you legal advice. You're not? I'm not. I am not your lawyer. I know. Surprise, I'm not your lawyer. And this is not legal advice. And by legal, I mean advice about legalities, not legal as in it's not illegal advice that I'm... Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, cool. Thanks. I'll look into that. There are cheaper alternatives based on what people have said in terms of server hosting. But I've just used DigitalOcean. I just got used to it. So, is upload traffic limited? I'm pretty sure it's unlimited. I'm pretty sure the upload and download traffic is unlimited. I would say take a look at the pricing section. The thing is, these are all of the databases are like, all of the droplets have different pricing structures. You kind of choose, it's technically not unlimited, but I think the transfer limit is monthly. And I want to say, I think I have just this one. Or I might have this one. No, I don't have that one. This is way too expensive. I probably have like this one. There's different priced ones, and it's all very like modular. So that's just what I've been doing. But yeah, I look at other different options. I personally just use Perforce. I heard him say something about being my lawyer, and then I zoned out, huh? Mods, shoot that guy. He's gonna put me in legal trouble. All right. Good progress today. Fire extinguisher. It is okay. I have to say this is kind of a crazy amount of work just to get one item working, but it is our first item, and always when it comes to the first of a system, it's always going to take longer than the other items. Use this instead of Git. Yeah, I use DigitalOcean and Perforce. Now you have the workflow and you know this stuff. Yeah, it should be easier. One concern I have, which I just thought of, if an item has no unique elements to it, we still have to create its own unique blueprint, which I think is ass. So I might want to try to find a way to circumvent that, if possible. Because I do still want it, so it's like, let's say you pick up a chalice or whatever, I still want it to like be able to, like, when you have it in your hand, you still see it in your hand. It's just you can't do anything with it. The only problem is I'd have to create a unique actor for that, which sounds like fucking ass. So I think I want to create like a generic actor that can still set itself to the item mesh, I think. Something we'll have to do. Me still haven't made a source control system. I really do recommend it. If you are doing a project very seriously, and it might take you months to make, and even not in months, but like, you know, just anything that's really important, I do recommend setting something up. Whatever the setup is, if it's a local setup, I don't think doing manual backups is enough. Unless you are extremely disciplined and you can do manual backups on your own every day. But, yeah, get this fire out of here, man. Hell yeah. Anyways. The extinguisher spinning sends me each time I see it. It's so unintended. I technically want the extinguisher to just like to just launch, to just go up and down. Maybe we add a little bit of angular dampening, but yeah, I'd recommend it, Lethal. Having source control and learning that whole stuff is a huge lifesaver. It really is. And it's also great to like see the progress that you're making on your project and to be able to revert files and stuff and all that kind of good jazz, you know what I mean? Get in the furnace. Get in the furnace. It's time to get in the furnace. I'm making bacon. Bacon. Should do an explosion when we throw it out of the train. Yeah, we do have to do quite a bit of stuff when things fall out of the train. Is that throwing mechanic from hit video game Suit for Hire? No, 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 no. Completely different system. Is that thing in the distance the Mafia? No, I have no idea. There's nothing even related to the Mafia in the game yet. This is just the outside. God, this is the trippiest fucking thing, man. It even trips me up. There it goes, through a tunnel. But we're actually not moving at all. It's so funny how that works. Yeah, I'm excited to see this expand. And hopefully it runs well. Hopefully it runs well. That'll be pretty important. But honestly, I feel like it's really nailing the friendslop look so far. Like, obviously, there's still work to do from a visual aesthetic standpoint. But, yeah. Did the fog go away because it was in the tunnel? It checks our position. And then checks the bounding box of the tunnel. So, kind of. But not really. It's more so where we are. So, if I go really far back on the back of the train... like here, for example, it should only start activating the fog or the fog change when we reach where we are, because it uses the bounding box and whatnot. I think it's just based off of like the Y position. And so like this line here. I think. There are still some visual edits we have to do to this. Obviously, because you can see it's kind of like fucky and whatnot, but we'll get there. No problem, we'll get there. Should I use Git or diversion or something else? I'd say just look up each one, see which one works for you. I just use Perforce because that's been the thing that I've been using. And the thing that I find is easiest for me. But yeah. God, I can't wait to do like little sound effects of things flying by and you hear like a it's gonna be so sick hearing the sound of the train, whatever the noise would be. The sound of opening the doors, maybe getting some like metallic reverberation of some sort when we're inside of surfaces. Yeah, dude. Hell, I love sound effects. I need a Crimson Mouth sound mode at least. If I don't find a sound effect for something and I need a sound effect for something, I will record it with my mouth. Fuck it. Do I have any train sound effects? I literally bought an entire pack of train sounds. I haven't even checked it out yet. Like an entire pack of train sounds. I even bought the version that has the surround sound sounds. The surround sound sounds. So we got things like arrival passenger train, tonal squeaking, drive-by freight train squeaking, rattling sounds, howling sounds, squeaking sounds, squealing sounds. They got a lot of verbs in here. Let's listen to one of them. I gotta download it. It's like 15 gigabytes. What's the app loader? This is the app that is associated with Boom library assets now, or sound libraries. So whenever you buy a sound library from Boom Library, you download it from this app now. Yeah, so we got a bunch of train exterior stuff, steam train, passenger train. Some metal gate movement stuff, which is cool. Hopefully there should be enough in here to work off of. Yeah. Some of these other libraries, though, in Boom 1, I did see some like transportation stuff. There are a couple like train sounds in here as well. Like there's a whole vehicles pack that I haven't downloaded yet. So surely this might have some train sounds even in here as well. We have freight. Got a couple freight stuff in here. Generic sounds, some horns. Jalopy. Yeah. Do I have any lore going on? There's a general idea, which is we are sausage people in a regular human world that are tasked to keep a train going that has specific types of passengers that are essentially monsters living in their own societies. And they would kill any of the sausages or humans. So they kind of live in their own subset areas. So we're slaves. No, we don't call them slaves here. We call them employees, okay? We call them employees. They're employees, all right? Not slaves. It's just employees with a little bit of danger. There's go-karts? Oh, shit. But yeah, that's kind of like some of the vibe of the lore and whatnot. Now, in terms of like the kind of vibe, I kind of like the Half-Life dystopian, little bit of cassette futurism kind of vibe. Snowpiercer is a pretty good like inspiration as well. Like, don't get me wrong, we are gonna have Arctic areas where it's like it gets blizzardy and shit like that. You know, like there'll be blizzards and weather effects and whatnot in certain areas. But yeah. That's kind of the vibe that I'm aiming for. Like, we don't even have that many sound effects, but I can see this being very cozy. Just like, just standing here, you know, kind of taking it all in. Random things passing by, like tunnels, and then those like little frames and stuff. I think should be pretty cool. Like right now, we don't have any sound effects for like when we're in the like here. We're gonna hear like echo probably. We're gonna hear the sound of like these like the rails on the outside here. Probably hear the sound of like when you get close to like a light. Maybe hearing some really ambient sound of the lights and whatnot. Yeah, I could see the audio being a very like immersive element for sure. And I also love like Lethal Company when you get into like the dungeon or whatnot, everything gets really metallic. I kind of like that element. So like some of the cabins will be like a storage cabin, and that will probably be more prevalent because there's a lot more metal echoing and whatnot. So I do want to play around with that a lot for sure. Yeah. And we could probably fuck around with that. Audio volume. I'm pretty sure there are some basic reverb settings. Hold on. Can you respawn if you die? So right now, the current design is that when you die, you respawn when your team or your friends get to the next station. There might be other mechanics to respawn as well. Ideally, I think it'd be nice to have other mechanics to respawn. But we shall see. So show engine content. There should be some like basic ones in here. Here we go. Bathroom, bunker hall, large room, medium hall. Let's try medium hall. Let's see if like our sound effects are already getting impacted by that. Oh yeah. Okay. Let me see here. The reverb, audio volume, medium hall. Let's try one that would be like really metallic. I'm thinking bunker hall would be pretty metallic. So damn funny. So here's my, whenever I come up with, try to like come up with anything game design related for this game, I'm always thinking, what would your friend say or react to if you did something in the game and suddenly it surprised all of you? Kind of hate waiting around in those games for respawn or a 10-minute revive to go play something else. I do want like deaths to have a price to an extent. Like I want it to be impactful, right? But I also, yeah, I don't want it to be punishing. I want to try to find out a way to make it so spectators can still enjoy the game in some way. Maybe in their own way. You know, maybe they can like spook their friends. You know, I think that could be fun. I think that could be an avenue where we can do something. If that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna leave this audio volume here because I could see the proximity chat being a good test for that. I wonder if there's a way. Oh, I guess we could do that. Let me try something. Yeah, for sure, Herbo. I think there needs to be an in-between. I think there needs to be an in-between because I think death can be a funny tool and also a horror tool as well. Because I think if we completely nullify death, it just makes it so there's no price to pay. But I think if we can give the possibility for players to be able to revive each other or do something of the sort, that would be the thing. Definitely what we're going to do is when you go to the next station or when you reach the next station, you get revived. I think Peak does something kind of similar where it's like when players reach the next zone. So it is kind of an element of, there is a time element to that of like 5 minutes or whatever time it might be. I do want to make it so it's like you spectate until you reach the next station, or we could say fuck it and we could fake the next station and make it so players can like go between spectating and also like actually being at the next station. Something I had as an idea is there'd be mini games at the next station. So like that could, we could still like, that could be a good avenue. There could be little mini games at the next station. You know what I mean? While maybe being able to spectate, maybe there's like a computer to spectate the players or something. I don't know. Like that could be our way of breaking that problem of having nothing to do when being at a station or something. They can gamble at the next station. Play pool with themselves or something. I don't know. Yeah, that it will be something, a design problem to solve though, for sure. Yeah. Like there are going to be upgrades. There's going to be a shop. And stuff like that. Coin pusher? Yeah. I would say I would love to make it randomized. So it's like random mini games and fun stuff are just there. So then that way there's an added element of randomization to each station. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the game evolves for sure. I do think that is something that is a very good point to look at though, is like death should be funny and have a price, but it shouldn't be at the price of the person not being able to enjoy the game. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to test something. Where's my tunnel? Where was my tunnel? I don't know where my tunnel is. Is that an environment? I think it's an environment. Instance tracks, instanced moving object. Yes, here it is, I think. Let's add an audio volume. Don't tell me I can't add an audio volume inside of a blueprint. Don't fuck with me, engine. Don't, no. Please. I should be able to add an audio volume. Adding an audio volume to an actor blueprint. You can add a child actor to the blueprint and then make it an audio volume. Don't fucking tell me to use a child actor, you motherfucker. Audio gameplay volume instead of audio volume is a plugin that needs to be activated. You know, add them into blueprint. I would try them myself for using level instances for the buildings. Audio gameplay volume? The fuck is audio gameplay volume? The hell is that? What the hell is this? Did I make the assets? So far, I think everything in here is our own assets, yeah. I don't think we've added any marketplace assets into the project. I like them spawning in the next station because it can be like the train company replacing the previous employee each time. Yes, yes. The railway operations and transport. Rot. Rot. Here's what I was looking at. Audio gameplay volumes. You can define physical regions that apply effects to sound relative to the listener's position. So just like audio volume. So what is the difference between audio gameplay volume and audio volume? Yeah, the same. I think you can't. Had the same problem a while ago with audio volume. Audio gameplay volume is maybe the new thing to solve that. Mustache, hat, or even a purse or something. I do want it so players can customize that stuff at some point. I do think it'd be fun. And that could also be a gameplay thing. It's like, hey, you beat this challenge, you get this random little item, similar to like how we did it for Suit for Hire. I think that'd be kind of a great way to break things up. Let me see here. What if we just add a box? But the box has nothing associated to it. Can we possibly associate a volume to the box? How is it that you can't put an audio volume directly as a component? Is God Mode Interactive just you? Currently, yes. Currently, yes. Volume takes this into consideration by providing the ability to attach a volume component to any actor and level in the new audio gameplay volumes. I guess we'll have to enable that plugin then. You think, Urbo? I don't know. I think I'm just, you know, doing my best. At the end of the day, just tried my best. Sync field, gameplay task, stereo layer. Yeah, we might have to enable that plugin. Alternatively, can I actually manually set which audio kind of reverb is associated? You should be able to do this manually, if I remember correctly, right? Setting the reverb. We have a global reverb, but that's a part of the resonance audio. I don't know if that's the right thing. No, nah, that's not it. Audio volume is fixed in runtime. God, what? Okay, hold on. Let's edit this. What file type is this? Is a reverb effect. If I remember correctly, the reverb effect is something that modifies on the submix. If I remember correctly. Pretty sure it's something modifying in here or in... We might be able to do it in runtime dynamically just through Blueprint without requiring an overlap box. I just gotta remember... let's just search up audio. Might have to do it through the audio bus. Let me double check. UE5 set reverb effect. Blueprint. Let's see if anybody's already... Oh, set reverb settings. Resonance audio. What is resonance audio? I feel like I've heard of this. What is this? And the plugin is enabled because I'm seeing some of the nodes for it. It's a 3D audio spatialization room acoustic simulation plugin by Google. Documentation. Is this like a runtime spatialization setting, or it like does it in runtime, or? It's a plugin like Steam Audio, but made by Google for VR originally and abandoned quickly. It's runtime spatialization. How do I quickly enable it just to fuck with it real quick? Like the plugin's here. I'm assuming maybe in audio settings. I don't even know if it's worth using, to be fair. Let's see here. Where was these? Where are those settings? Are they not in audio? Are they here in Windows? Okay. I don't know if that's going to start utilizing it. And I don't even know how to set it up. Let's see. Resonance Audio Directivity Visualizer. The hell does that even mean? What does that mean? What does it mean? What do the numbers mean? I only see that one actor. Let's see in here. Resonance, probably in sound, audio. Analysis, classes, dialogue, effects, meta sound, mix, and resonance. Resonance audio reverb settings. I wonder how we make use of this. How do I make use of this? Let me reopen this. Okay. Go to project settings, go to plugins, go to resonance. See here, audio, resonance, reverb settings. Whoa. Audio room effects are enabled. Sure. Oh, this is for a space. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to... You mentioned it's like real time. Thing is, what is real time? Directivity pattern in the viewport. Sure. I want to see what it's doing, if it's doing anything, actually. You just set resonance as the spatialization plugin? I think we did. Let's double check, though. Spatialization reverb. Yeah. We got that in. Wonder if there's anything else we need to set up in here. Resonance audio. Oh, we do need to set up the I think we need to set up the submix as well. The submix isn't hooked up. Where are the submixes? How do I hook up a submix in here? Wait, can I not hook it up to master? Uh-oh. Error. I think Whether to use the master EQ submix as set in the audio category or project settings as the default submix for referencing sounds. Where is that? Where did we set the master submix? Master submix default. This I'm pretty sure is engine side. Pretty sure this is literally, yeah, it's an engine sound. Is it okay to edit this? Maybe not a good idea, but maybe fuck it, I guess. We ballin'? Ah, there it is. Yeah, it's gonna try to mark for add something that doesn't exist. Let's, I guess let's move this submix somewhere else then. We'll call this, HRTF simulates how we perceive directionality sound with a human ear. I think that sounds sick. I'm curious how it works. Need to go back to the submix that we have here and copy it over. Oh, I guess I can't copy it over here. Okay. We have the EQ submix default. But for some reason can't put these in here. I can probably, maybe I can route this to a different submix, resonance submix default. Sure, I should be able to find this. There we go. Now I can hook this one. But then I need the EQ submix. I probably don't want to use this, but maybe, fuck it. Or alternatively, instead of this one, maybe we use the master reverb submix default. But we probably want it to be routed into its own thing. Let's... Okay, now we just need to set up our submix to work with that. Let's see if that does anything. Might break some of our sounds. Oh, we have to restart the editor. Okay, cool. I guess. All right. Me messing around with a thing. This is how 90% of my dev days go. We just toy around with the thing. I'm also curious about Steam sound stuff. I've always been curious about the Steam sound stuff. I guess the thing with resonance and spatialization and all that stuff, there's no like perfect solution that's like dynamic, right? I wish there was, and I've tried using them before, but they always give a very odd result, I feel like. The thing is, let's check if this is actually routed correctly, just to see if this is actually working. Okay, we got the master submix. Now the reverb submix, I don't know if this is supposed to go... Not sure where this is supposed to go, but whatever. It only works with audio volumes. That's the downside of it. And one global volume. How can I, like, see it? I know there's a visualizer. Audio directivity visualizer. So if I put this, does this allow me to see? Yeah, I set the global volume, which I think it's this one. Okay, so I guess left wall material. Let's just try fucking around with it, I guess. Because right now it's transparent, which I think would give us nothing really great. Let's just try metal. These are default acoustic materials, which kind of sucks. I guess it is what it is. Do I do a lot of this off stream? It depends on the day. Some days I'll do a lot more work off stream. Uh-huh. I might have to... is this? Send to the reverb submix. Maybe I have to set up the reverb submix in the right spot. Here. Master reverb submix. Maybe instead here we use the resonance submix default. I don't know. To use the reverb plugin, set up the global reverb preset. Resonance audio, open the general setting and find the global reverb preset drop down. Now you can select enable room effects, which I believe we have. In dimensions, enter 4,000, 3,000, 2,000 for now. These are arbitrary values, but we'll change them later in this tutorial. Oh. Choose uniform material for each surface. Not sure what uniform means, but I guess we'll find out. Leave all the other settings unmodified. Hmm. Oh, right. For the occlusion, we'd have to do that. I don't know if we wanted to change that one project setting. This we might want to revert it back to, I think it was this one. The reverb submix. Every sound using it? I'm pretty sure if we set the default, it should set the default, right? Or no? We might be screwed. Master EQ submix. Output to master EQ submix. Oh god. Which would be this. But then the submix through which all sounds set to use reverb are routed through the master reverb submix default, which we are not using. So I feel like we could probably throw in the resonance submix in there. In here. I think that should work. It's not stated in the setup settings. It's another settings asset in the spatialization plugin settings. Oh, in the error. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Don't think I can do that here. I think I'd have to literally do that. I'd have to do that in every actor, unless is there a default attenuation? I don't think there is. Do I have an attenuation sound for my assets? I do, but I think I'm doing a manual one for each one. Let's try this though. I can just go to the valve real quick. We can do an override attenuation. Funny enough, that does not have any attenuation. We'd have to enable that. God, we'd have to do that for everything. we'd have to quite literally do that for everything. There's no way. There has to be a way of making this defaulted. These are defined by the plugin creator. Not all audio plugins utilize this feature. Balls. Balls, 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 balls. Yeah, or create attenuation, put it on everything. I swear there is a default attenuation. Is there? I don't know. I don't know. Might be waffling. Okay, that could get really annoying. I really just want to test this out rather than committing to this. Because I just want to fuck around with it a little bit. Okay, let's see here. Where are we at here? Resonance submix. There is one type attenuation in the project settings. I don't have it. I don't have it. Oh. The default submix to use for implicit submix sends. Have a good stream. I'm gonna go cook. Hey, enjoy the food. I'm pretty hungry. Probably just gonna say fuck this. Because honestly, it's just messing around with it. Just having fun with it anyways, so. We'll just throw it in and, I don't know, see if we can make use of it at all. Was the demo playtest coming out? A publicly or semi-public playtest are probably going to be a while from now. Most of the playtests are happening like internally. Let's try adjusting the settings a bit. This is 4,000, 3,200. Let's do 1,000 by 1,000 by 1,000. Let's also change this to metal, because I know metal will be the one that has the most impact of all of these. Like, we'll get the most to see if it's actually doing anything. What's my estimate for release date? Hopefully next year, if we can. Hopefully next year, if we can. In the pattern type 0.5, and the sharpness type 2. Check toggle visualization. This does not affect the sound properties of your sound. You just applied directly in the viewport. What's weird is that I'm not seeing it, so that's a little bit. Which this one is this? Reverb. Set up the global reverb. Let's double check that I actually set that before I go crazy, because I will go crazy. Okay, I set both of these up, no problem. We output it to the resonance submix, which is being sent to the train rot master submix. We set that to be the new submix that we're setting in our audio. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see something. reverb plugin effect. Let's try that. Although I would assume it would work without that. Yeah, there might be some additional setup required for this to get this to work. Quite a few additional things to get this to work. Yeah. Visualization, reverb plugin, and occlusion plugin. Select resonance audio. I'm pretty sure I did all of those. Let's double check. Let's double check. Let's double check. It's January 1st. Probably not. Yeah, I don't think it is actually setting it, but let's double check. Occlusion plugin. We did built-in occlusion. Apparently this says in the occlusion plugin, select resonance audio. I don't have resonance for the occlusion, so I wonder. Please use the plugin from Valve's website. I wonder if I think I've used Steam Audio before, and I don't know if it. Yeah, I don't know if it worked very well, or maybe it just needs a lot of setting up. I don't know. This might need quite a bit of just messing around with. Might need just quite a bit of messing about. Might just need quite a bit of messing about. Because I'm not even seeing the spatialization in play. This is also... This isn't doing anything. Yeah, maybe we just have to increase the gain, or maybe I just don't hear it yet. I might just need to look at a tutorial for that, and I think we'll probably do that off stream. So, on that note, or let me see, actually, maybe I can do the footsteps. Let's get the footsteps hooked in here, because then maybe maybe then I can maybe hear it just going anywhere. So the spatialization, they use spatialization method provided by spatialization plugin currently selected in the project settings. Oh, I might have forgotten to select that. Now that I'm thinking about it. Whoopsies. Oh. Yeah, there it is. It's doing the thing. It is doing the thing. I wish I could set the default spatialization, dude. Can you not set the default spatialization? That's really annoying. Oh. Oh, that's really annoying. Besides Zahib. Yeah, this is a little bit of fucking around with a little bit. Let's do 3,000, 2,000, 2,000 again, or whatever the number was. Then let's try uniform again. You would think metal would be more, well, metallic. I've always found with these dynamic plugins that it tends to muffle everything. It tends to just muffle everything, and I'm curious how to like not make it muffle everything. Like, let's see if I do it with a valve. I guess it didn't. Yeah, I guess this one's fine. You have to make a volume around one wagon. It uses it for scale of effect. I think it, in this case, does it not, I know we set up some stuff here. We set the room dimensions. But I guess the room position in 3D space is incorrect. So we did that here with this one because we have a audio volume here. We set the reverb plugin. We can maybe up the volume, I guess. I missed all the work. Let's try metal for the walls. Floor could be wood. Or maybe let's try carpet. Where's carpet at? Whatever. Wood panel. Ceiling, we'll do wood ceiling. Front wall material, metal. And back wall material, metal. Dude, I've always found this stuff to be really fascinating. It's just, obviously, you can't really tell too much when you're only playing with, like, one sound effect. Like, we can up the reverb gain, maybe slightly up the reverb brightness, maybe do a little bit more on the early reflections, just to kind of see if it's doing anything. I wonder if the sound effect for the footstep is being put inside of the ground. Because when we spawn it, I'm spawning it at the location. Oh my god, I wonder if it's being fucking slightly slightly occluded. Where's the valve? I know I'm kind of like wasting a little bit of time. Sorry, chat. Oh, right. I didn't set this up properly. Okay. Let's set that spatialization method to plugin. So that thing hasn't been working the right way this entire time. Okay, now let's listen to it. It's probably going to be really muffled. Dude, the footstep sound still sounds really muffled. I wonder if the player character is somehow muffling it. Which engine version am I on? 5.6. 5.6. I do think this is being muffled by... If I turn off occlusion... No, it sounds so muffled, man. The footsteps sound so muffled. Can't wait for Unreal Engine 6.7. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. For me on 5.5, it doesn't have the form plugin option. The form plugin option? Yeah, I don't know why it's so muffled. I wish I could just make it not as muffled, but I don't know. Or plugin spatialize. You mean the queue? Resonance. Resonance. In the queue? I don't know why I have it then. It's a pretty awful sound. It definitely makes... See, this is the thing with the... With this, is I feel like it, like... Ooh. You can kind of hear the spatialization bounces on the walls. Let's try, I think we're using a wood floor right now, which is probably why the sound is being eaten. Let's set the floor to metal. Dude, it sounds like the footsteps is not in the right spot. That's my problem with the footstep right now, is it sounds like it's like being occluded. I don't know why. I don't know. Also, this resonance, I don't know how to see this. We have the audio directivity visualizer. I don't know how to actually visualize any of this stuff yet. So would be nice to see that. But anyways, I'm going to go. Thanks for dropping by, everybody. Little messing. I'll mess around with it a little bit more off stream because it could be interesting. It's also good to consider that we don't have that many things in the room here, like in terms of sound effects and whatnot. So it's like we're kind of tunnel visioning on just singular sound effects, and that's not very good with spatialization. Like spatialization means like some ambience, we need some like things on the outside, we need like a bunch of stuff, you know what I mean? So we can't just rely on singular sounds. I feel like we'll get stuck for hours trying to figure this shit out. Anyways, I'll just leave it as it is for now, because whatever. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for looking, chatting, sticking around. Goodbye. I'm hungry. Goodbye.